have any images of Portugal? No idea. So I asked my Portuguese friends what they thought of Portugal and of Japan, and this is what they said. So for Portugal, they think it's football, the beach, traditional sites, and more football. For Japan, they said sushi, and robots, and ninjas. And they also had images of Mount Fuji and Tokyo. They think that Tokyo is a really modern, futuristic city, and they expect to see flying cars or something. Good. So this is the image that we have of each country. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about history. So Portugal as a country was, I guess, started almost 900 years ago. So we became independent from what is now Spain. And if you compare Portuguese history to Japanese history, Japan is much older than Portugal. However, for the European level, we are one of the oldest countries, and we have one of the most stable borders. So our country has not changed much over 900 years. If you can see in the middle picture, we are totally surrounded by Spain. When this happens, we have only one choice: go to the sea. So this is actually what we did, and over the next several hundred years, Portugal started a really large expansion. So now I'd like you to consider that the low salary is one of the reasons I am here. 20% of the Portuguese population lives out of Portugal.
20%?
Yes, that's only first generation, not including children, which also have passports. So people that were born in Portugal, 20% live outside. This is actually, in terms of relative numbers, percentage, this is the highest in Europe. If you consider other countries that have a lot of immigrants, Portugal is the highest. One of the reasons is the low salary. Another is that we have free movement. We can go to other countries. So we have moved to the UK, France, Switzerland, which we have free access to. Outside the European Union, we have moved to South America, also South Africa, and we also have some population in Australia. So I have family all over the world. I have family in Sydney, I have family in Brazil, I have family in South Africa, I have family in the UK, and I have family in France. So I have free accommodation everywhere. You consider Portugal as a tourist destination, this is maybe what you will think of. The top left picture, this is the northern area. I don't know if you know port wine. This is actually port wine growing. These are grapes. And this is the river which crosses the north of the country. You can have cruises here. And it's a very popular area to visit. And the next place I'd like to show you is Madeira, which is closer to Africa. Now, I should tell you I am from Madeira.
I have been to Madeira.
You have? But you said you didn't go to Portugal. This is another point. Madeirans don't consider themselves Portuguese. They think they are a different species. Separate country. We like to think we are independent a little bit.
You're far enough away.
Yeah.
I think.
But Madeira is also, it's similar to the Azores. To be honest, perhaps in terms of nature, not as beautiful, because we are more developed. There are only 2 islands and we're very close together. And in the 2 islands we have the same population as the 9 islands in the Azores. Also, Madeira is much more popular in terms of tourism it has better air access, it's closer, and it has more connections to Europe. One of the things that we have is hiking. So this is a mountain road, and we have hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of these. People come from all over the world to walk and get covered in water. Maybe you could just have a shower in Tokyo, I don't know. But actually, this is millions of years old. And you can find trees that are over 800 years old. This is actually UNESCO heritage, so it is protected. And it is the only place in the world where you can find some of the greenery and plants. It only exists there. Now, I'd like to talk about food. I don't know. Feeling hungry. So, Portuguese food is pretty good, but I'm biased. I have to say it's good. And you'll notice that a lot of the food is seafood based. This means a lot of fish, a lot of seafood. We also have meat, mainly pork and chicken. If you look at the top, you'll see that there is potato. There is potato in everything. Okay? So potatoes go well with everything. And that is a sausage that is popular in the north area. And it's made from the insides of the pork. If you don't like it, I will be upset. It's very popular in the north area, and it's a very traditional food. Many families still make this at home by themselves. You can also buy it in the supermarket. Okay. And if you notice here, this is actually traditional Portuguese plates, okay, made of pottery. You see again more seafood and bread. Bread must always be on the table. It's like salt, pepper bread. It's part of the decoration. Okay. And this is a more elegant meal. We don't eat this every day. So to be honest, this kind of meal would be something for a celebration, like I don't know, an anniversary or a birthday. We cannot really afford this kind of food every day. Although much cheaper than in Japan, it's still above our possibilities. However, most of this is okay. Most of this is okay. And the next one, sorry if you're on a diet, cakes. If you go to Portugal, you will notice there is a coffee shop culture. There is a pastry culture. We have this kind of shop everywhere. Every street has one. And we eat a lot of it. So not only do we eat bread, we eat pastry. It's very common for a Portuguese person to go to one of these shops, sit down, have a coffee, and have a cake for breakfast. There are no direct flights between Japan and Portugal. You have to stop somewhere, but you can stop anywhere. You can stop in the UK, you can stop in France, in the Netherlands, in Germany. Basically all European countries connect. Usually I stop in the Middle East, so I usually stop in Dubai, which also connects. You can stop anywhere you like, but there are no direct flights. To be honest, I would recommend Portugal, also kind of Spain, because if they are quite close, they're right next to each other. They can't be closer. So it's also a good opportunity to visit both.
How about Porto?
Porto is also very, very famous, and I think Porto is actually more beautiful than Lisbon. I studied in the north area, so again, I am biased. However, Porto doesn't have the connections in terms of public transport are not so good if you compare to Lisbon. And Porto has a very famous architecture in terms of bridges. So actually, some of the bridges in Porto were designed by Eiffel, who made the Eiffel Tower. So they have, the structure, it looks like the Eiffel Tower. It's kind of a metallic structure. But again, I would recommend Madeira, because yeah, I'm from Madeira. And actually, for example, if you think of Madeira wine, Japanese company which is Kinoshita, they have invested in Madeira wine, and I have found many Japanese tourists in Madeira. Thank you. So obrigado. It's not arigato, but it's almost the same. But Many people think it comes from the Portuguese. It doesn't. So the Japanese have arigato, which comes from arigatai and arigatak, which is not the same, but interesting similarity. So for the ladies, you have to say obrigada, and the gentlemen have to say obrigado. So for me, obrigada. You're welcome.